This is a crazy car. I know a little bit about it. It's as rare.
This was originally dreamt up in a pub on the back of a cigarette packet by a couple of engineers that worked for Jaguar at the time that wanted to progress from the D-Type for the Le Mans program.
Every once in a while, an automaker dares to create something the world has never seen before. Not for profit, not for production, but purely for passion. These are the rarest of machines, one-off creations that exist as a single heartbeat in automotive history. Built to test the limits of design, technology, or imagination, these cars were never meant for the public road. Some were born from bold dreams that went too far, others from private commissions where cost didn't matter. Yet all share one thing: they were built only once. Today, we'll explore 12 such extraordinary vehicles, cars so rare that even lifelong enthusiasts might never see them outside of museum walls or grainy photographs. From Ferrari's only four-door sedan to a Lamborghini shaped like a fighter jet, these one-off legends reveal just how far car makers are willing to go in pursuit of perfection. Number 1. Ferrari Pinin, 1980. In the world of Ferrari, one rule has always been sacred: no four-door sedans. But in 1980, design house Pininfarina decided to challenge that tradition. To celebrate its 50th anniversary, Pininfarina unveiled the Ferrari Pinin, a sleek, luxurious sedan wearing the iconic prancing horse badge. Something even Enzo Ferrari himself had never approved before. The car's design stunned everyone at the Turin Motor Show. It was long, elegant, and understated, featuring sharp lines and flush glass panels, far removed from Ferrari's usual aggressive curves. Under the hood, it was rumored to carry a 5.0-liter flat 12 engine, though the prototype on display was non-functional at first. Enzo was reportedly impressed, but ultimately, the idea of a family-sized Ferrari didn't fit the brand's racing heritage. The project was quietly shelved after just one car. Today, that single Pinin exists as a symbol of what could have been: Ferrari's forbidden experiment with luxury sedans. Number 2. Aston Martin Bulldog, 1979. At the tail end of the 1970s, Aston Martin set out to do something extraordinary: to build the fastest car in the world. The result was the Aston Martin Bulldog, a radical wedge-shaped supercar that looked more like a spaceship than something that belonged on the streets of London. With its sharp angles, low stance, and hidden headlights, the Bulldog was pure science fiction brought to life. Under its sculpted aluminum skin sat a 5.3-liter twin-turbocharged V8, pushing out a staggering 600 horsepower. An unheard-of figure for its time. Aston Martin claimed it could reach 200 miles per hour, a number that would have dethroned even the Lamborghini Countach and Ferrari's finest. In testing, it reached 191 miles per hour before financial troubles forced the company to pull the plug. Only one Bulldog was ever built. It became a legend whispered about in collector circles, a symbol of what Aston Martin could achieve when it ignored practicality and chased pure performance. Decades later, in 2021, that very Bulldog was meticulously restored and finally achieved what it was meant to do. It broke 200 miles per hour, fulfilling a 40-year-old promise. Number 3. Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic number. 5. The Lost Atlantic. Few cars in history carry the same aura of mystery and elegance as the Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic. Only 4 were ever built, but one of them, known as the fifth ghost car, is said to have vanished without a trace. This missing masterpiece is often called the Lost Atlantic, and its legend continues to captivate car historians to this day. Originally designed by John Bugatti, son of Ettore Bugatti, the Atlantic was a breathtaking fusion of art and engineering. Its signature riveted spine ran the length of the car, giving it a distinctive dorsal fin that made it instantly recognizable. The body was made of electron, a lightweight magnesium alloy that couldn't be welded, forcing craftsmen to rivet every seam by hand. A dangerous but visually stunning choice. Each Atlantic was powered by a 3.3-liter straight-eight engine, capable of speeds up to 120 miles per hour. A remarkable feat for the 1930s. But it wasn't just speed that made it special. It was the sculptural beauty, the rarity, and the romantic tragedy surrounding John Bugatti's death before the car's legacy was fully realized. The missing Atlantic, chassis number 57453, was believed to have been transported somewhere in France before World War II and never seen again. Some say it was hidden in a barn. Others believe it was destroyed during the war. If ever found, experts estimate it could be worth over $100 million, making it the most valuable car in the world. Number 4. Lamborghini Egoista, 2013. If there's one car that perfectly captures Lamborghini's wild spirit, it's the Egoista, a name that literally means selfish in Italian. Revealed in 2013 for Lamborghini's 50th anniversary, the Egoista was a one-seat hypercar that looked more like a fighter jet than a road vehicle. And that was exactly the point. Designed by Walter de Silva, the Egoista was built around the idea of pure individuality. It had just one seat, and that cockpit was enclosed in a glass canopy inspired by a jet fighter's canopy. To get in or out, the driver had to remove the steering wheel and climb over the dashboard, just like a pilot preparing for takeoff. Beneath its sculpted aerodynamic shell sat a 5.2-liter V10 engine producing 600 horsepower, borrowed from the Gallardo. But it wasn't the performance that made the Egoista unforgettable. It was its unapologetic design philosophy. Every angle, every vent, and every LED light was meant to make it look untamed, even dangerous. Lamborghini never intended to sell it. The Egoista was a rolling piece of art, a tribute to 50 years of rebellion, innovation, and excess. After its debut, it was placed in Lamborghini's private museum, where it remains guarded and untouched. Only one was ever built, a car meant not for drivers, but for dreamers bold enough to imagine themselves as the lone pilot of Lamborghini's most radical creation. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz C111 IV, 1979. In the late 1970s, Mercedes-Benz wasn't just building luxury cars. It was quietly building rocket ships on wheels. The Mercedes-Benz C111 IV was the most extreme version of its experimental C111 series, a line of prototype cars designed to test radical technology. While earlier, C111s experimented with Wankel rotary engines and diesel power, the fourth version was built purely for one reason: speed. The C111 IV featured a sleek, needle-nosed design made for slicing through the air. Its body was crafted for aerodynamic efficiency, with a drag coefficient so low that it looked like something out of a wind tunnel experiment. Because it was. Underneath that futuristic shell was a 4.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine producing more than 500 horsepower. In 1979, the car hit the track at Nardo, Italy, and achieved a record-breaking 251 miles per hour, faster than anything else on the planet at that time. But this wasn't a car meant for production. It was a one-off experiment in speed and technology, a glimpse into the future of aerodynamics and powertrain innovation. Once the records were made and the data was collected, Mercedes quietly retired the C111 IV. It was never sold, never replicated, and remains locked away in the company's collection. A single, shimmering reminder that Mercedes could build a supercar faster than anyone if it ever truly wanted to. Number 6. Rolls-Royce 100EX 2004. In 2004, Rolls-Royce decided to celebrate its centenary in true Rolls fashion by crafting something so luxurious, so exclusive, that it could never be replicated. The result was the Rolls-Royce 100EX, a concept car that embodied the brand's philosophy of effortless elegance and timeless craftsmanship. Built as a one-off masterpiece, it wasn't just a showpiece, it was a rolling vision of the brand's future. The 100EX made its debut at the Geneva Motor Show, where it immediately stole the spotlight. Beneath its long, sculpted hood sat an experimental 9.0-liter V16 engine, built purely to showcase engineering excess. The car's proportions were monumental, featuring an open-top body design with rear-hinged coach doors, a design element that would later inspire the Rolls-Royce Phantom drop-head coupe. Inside, the cabin was a sanctuary of opulence: hand-stitched leather, brushed aluminum accents, and a dashboard finished with real teak wood, reminiscent of luxury yachts. Every inch of the 100EX was a celebration of craftsmanship, built without concern for cost or practicality. But despite the admiration it received, Rolls-Royce never intended to produce it. The 100EX existed solely to inspire, to show what the company could do when freed from all limitations. Today, this single car sits in Rolls-Royce's private collection in Goodwood, serving as both a design legacy and a quiet reminder of how the future of the brand was shaped by one unforgettable creation. Number 7. Jaguar XJ13 1966. The Jaguar XJ13 is one of those cars that feels almost mythical, a machine born for glory but destined for tragedy. In the mid-1960s, Jaguar wanted to reclaim its dominance at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where it had once ruled with the D-Type. To do that, the engineers at Coventry built a car unlike anything they had ever attempted before. The XJ13 was a stunning mid-engine racing prototype powered by a 5.0-liter V12 engine that Jaguar designed completely from scratch. The engine alone was a masterpiece, smooth, powerful, and capable of producing over 500 horsepower. Combined with the car's curvaceous aluminum body and aerodynamic lines, it promised to bring Jaguar roaring back to the top of endurance racing. But fate had other plans. By the time the car was ready in 1966, racing regulations had changed, and Jaguar's priorities had shifted toward production vehicles. The XJ13 never competed. Then, tragedy struck during a 1971 test filming session. Legendary driver Norman Dewis was behind the wheel when a tire failure sent the car tumbling across the track, nearly destroying it completely. Miraculously, Dewis survived. The wrecked XJ13 was later rebuilt painstakingly by Jaguar engineers piece by piece. Today, only one exists, and it's locked away in the company's private collection. The XJ13 remains one of the most beautiful cars ever made. a haunting reminder of Jaguar's racing ambitions and of how easily perfection can be lost to time. Number 8. Chevrolet Corvette XP882, 1970. Long before the Corvette C8 made headlines for finally going mid-engine, Chevrolet had already experimented with that very idea, more than 50 years earlier. Back in 1970, the company unveiled the Chevrolet Corvette XP882, a radical prototype that showed the world what an American mid-engine supercar could look like. The XP882 was designed under the direction of Zora Arkus Duntov, often called the father of the Corvette. Duntov had long believed that to compete with Europe's finest, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche, the Corvette needed to move its engine behind the driver. So, he set out to build one. The XP882 was sleek, low, and futuristic, with pop-up headlights, a wide stance, and aerodynamic curves that made it look like something from a Bond movie. It was powered by a 400 cubic inch, 6.6-liter V8, mounted just behind the seats, producing around 400 horsepower, a massive number for its time. The car's performance potential was undeniable, and it quickly drew attention when it debuted at the New York Auto Show. However, GM's executives had cold feet. They feared a mid-engine Corvette would be too expensive to produce and would cannibalize sales of their other models. As a result, the XP882 never saw the green light for production. But it didn't disappear. 2 prototypes were built, and one of them later evolved into another concept, the Aerovette, before the idea was finally shelved altogether. It would take nearly 5 decades for Chevrolet to revisit that dream with the 2020 Corvette C8, a car that finally fulfilled Duntov's original vision. Yet the XP882 remains a one-off legend, a symbol of American ambition that arrived too early for its time. Number 9. Porsche 911 Vision Safari, 2012. When Porsche experiments, it doesn't always chase speed. Sometimes it chases spirit. In 2012, the company secretly built a single, one-off concept known as the Porsche 911 Vision Safari, an off-road 911 inspired by the brand's rally legends from the 1970s and 80s. This car was never shown to the public at the time. It lived quietly inside Porsche's design studio, known only to a handful of insiders. The idea came from Porsche's past dominance in events like the East African Safari Rally, where modified 911s stormed through mud, dust, and desert terrain. The Vision Safari carried that same DNA, with raised suspension, reinforced wheel arches, massive off-road tires, and skid plates underneath for protection. Inside, it featured a roll cage, racing seats, and simple rally controls, all built into a 911 body that looked ready to take on the wilderness. Under the rear hood, it packed a 3.8-liter flat-six engine, borrowed from the 911 Carrera 4S of that era, delivering pure rally power with Porsche's signature precision. But the Vision Safari wasn't about numbers, it was about attitude. It showed that the 911, often seen as a precision sports car, could also be a rugged adventurer. For years, Porsche kept the Vision Safari hidden until it was finally revealed in 2020 as part of the brand's Unseen concept collection. Fans immediately fell in love with it, so much that Porsche later created the 911 Dakar, a production version inspired directly by this one-off. The Vision Safari remains a symbol of Porsche's adventurous side, the single car that reminded the world the 911 could go anywhere. Number 10. Cadillac 16, 2003. In an era when luxury cars were becoming increasingly conservative, Cadillac decided to remind the world what true American opulence looked like. The result was the Cadillac 16, unveiled in 2003. A breathtaking concept that blended the elegance of the 1930s with the power and technology of the modern age. And true to its name, it carried a heart unlike any other. A massive 16-cylinder engine. This car was an unapologetic statement of power and prestige. Under its impossibly long hood sat a 13.6-liter V16 engine, producing an astonishing 1,000 horsepower and 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Yet, despite its monumental output, the 16 used advanced cylinder deactivation, allowing it to run on as few as 4 cylinders when cruising. It was engineering brilliance wrapped in an Art Deco masterpiece. The design was nothing short of majestic, low, graceful, and almost royal in its presence. The cabin was wrapped in hand-stitched leather, zebrano wood, and brushed aluminum, evoking the spirit of bespoke luxury coaches from the 1930s. The doors opened wide to reveal an interior more like a private jet than a car. The 16 wasn't just a concept, it was a message. Cadillac wanted to show that it could stand shoulder to shoulder with Rolls-Royce and Bentley, that America still knew how to build dreams on wheels. Unfortunately, the sheer cost of producing such a machine made it impossible to bring to market. Only one was ever built, and it remains in General Motors' private collection. The Cadillac 16 remains one of the greatest concept cars ever made, a glimpse of a world where craftsmanship, luxury, and power knew no limits. It's a symbol of American grandeur at its boldest and most beautiful. Number 11. BMW Nazca M12, 1991. The early 1990s were a golden age of concept cars, but few captured the imagination quite like the BMW Nazca M12. Designed by the legendary Italdesign Giugiaro, this car looked like it had arrived straight from the future, a vision of what supercars might become in the 21st century. With its sweeping glass canopy, sculpted carbon fiber body, and unmistakable BMW kidney grills, the Nazca M12 was pure automotive art. Under the futuristic shell lay the beating heart of a true driver's car. A 5.0-liter BMW V12 engine sourced from the iconic 850i, producing around 300 horsepower. That might sound modest today, but in 1991, combined with its lightweight carbon fiber construction, it made the Nazca both fast and remarkably agile. The car could reportedly reach 180 miles per hour, and its aerodynamic efficiency rivaled that of Formula One designs of the era. The interior was as radical as the exterior. The cockpit-style cabin featured deep bucket seats, aircraft-inspired instrumentation, and a panoramic view through the expansive canopy that wrapped over the driver like a bubble. Every inch of the M12 screamed innovation and exclusivity. 3 versions of the Nazca were built in total, but only one original M12 prototype was created under BMW's name. The others were slightly altered evolutions, including the Nazca C2 and C2 Spider, produced later as design studies. Despite overwhelming enthusiasm from car enthusiasts and collectors, BMW never pursued production. Today, the Nazca M12 stands as a testament to what happens when design is allowed to dream freely. It remains one of Giugiaro's most admired works, an icon that merged the spirit of German engineering with Italian artistry. That single prototype still turns heads decades later, a ghost from a time when concept cars truly looked like they came from another planet. Number 12. Maybach Exelero, 2005. Few cars in modern history blend power, luxury, and intimidation quite like the Maybach Exelero. Built in 2005 as a one-off high-performance coupe, it was commissioned not by Maybach themselves, but by Fulda Tiers, a German tire manufacturer, to test their new high-speed tires. What emerged was a machine so striking, so commanding, that it instantly became one of the most iconic one-offs ever created. The Exelero was based on the platform of the Maybach 57 limousine, but transformed into a two-door Grand Tourer of epic proportions. Under its endless hood sat a twin-turbocharged 5.9-liter V12 engine producing an incredible 700 horsepower and 752 pound-feet of torque. This nearly 3-ton behemoth could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.4 seconds, reaching a top speed of 218 miles per hour. Astonishing for a car of its size and weight. But beyond performance, the Exelero was a statement of excess and craftsmanship. Its design channeled the spirit of pre-war luxury coupes, with long, flowing lines, a towering front grille, and muscular proportions that made it look more like a villain's car than a test vehicle. Inside, the cabin was swathed in black leather, aluminum, and carbon fiber. Every detail custom-built by hand. Only one Exelero was ever made, and it became a legend almost overnight. It was later owned by rapper Birdman, rumored to have been sold for around $8 million, though the car's value today would easily exceed $10 million if it ever went to auction. The Maybach Exelero isn't just a car. It's an event on wheels. It represents a time when automakers weren't afraid to create something truly excessive, purely for the sake of beauty and engineering. A one-off masterpiece that will never be duplicated, standing proudly as the last word in bespoke luxury. Every car on this list shares something extraordinary: the courage to exist only once. These machines were never meant for mass production or profit. They were built to prove a point, to test the limits of imagination, and to leave behind a legacy far greater than numbers or sales. From Ferrari's elegant sedan to Maybach's monstrous Exelero, these one-off creations remind us that the automotive world is not just about transportation. It's about passion, vision, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. In a world where most cars look alike, these rare legends stand apart. Whispers from an era when engineers and designers were artists first. And while they may only exist as single examples, their impact on design, innovation, and imagination will echo through history for generations to come.